I'm not going to keep this hat on for long because it won't fit my headphones. And my arms are already getting tired.
Mary Robinson.
She answered the question. She said no, so then I went, okay.
And Phil Tremblay.
Nebraska could disappear
I
off
know
the
it's in the
face of the
States,
earth,
but where's
and it would not
Nebraska?
affect me any.
Grab a seat because the show starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Coast to Coast, a slightly more abridged version of Coast to Coast. Today, I'm your host for today, Alex Verco. With the absence of my two other hosts, we honestly weren't going to have a show today until some news broke around 10 a.m. Mountain Time this morning. But first, we'll get to Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals, which played out last night, and it started off a lot like how Game 4 did. Florida gets on the power play, Connor Brown picks off a D-to-D pass and does it all himself, 1-0 Oilers. Second period starts with Florida on the penalty kill and Edmonton makes them pay. Hyman scoring on the power play, making it 2-0. McDavid makes it 3-0 5 minutes into the second, and it's around this time I started thinking that Edmonton might actually do the thing. Matthew Tkachuk responds, getting the penalty within 2. Corey Perry and Evan Rodriguez exchange for goals 14 seconds apart. 4-2 Oilers is how the second period would end, leading into the third. Oliver Ekman-Larsson pulls Florida within 5 minutes into the third frame, and it looks like Florida might actually do the thing. Empty net for Florida, Janmark almost ices it. Matthew Tkachuk makes a game-saving clear out of the crease on his stomach, Penguin style, before McDavid wires a backbreaker into the yawning cage. 5-3 is how this game would end. I watched mostly the game outside of the first 5-6 minutes from the second period. Florida looked incredibly nervous through much of the game. Their special teams got eaten alive, both on power play and PK. Edmonton, conversely, looked super cohesive, and it looks like what has only happened 4 times previously in the history of the NHL, and once in the history of the finals, might actually happen 5 times and twice by the end of this final. It was pointed out during the Sportsnet broadcast last night that once the series reaches games 4, 5, and 6, Skinner looks locked in. This series is no different. Game 6 in Edmonton on Friday, and I think Edmonton's got this. Skinner's looking dialed. The team in front of him is looking like a force, and the team against him looking really scattered, really nervous. My prediction, I'm going to be really stressed for my birthday on Game 7. Edmonton wins Game 6 by a score of 3-1. Now moving on to the topic that brought me here, but first, a Coast to Coast archives. I think
Even Abe
that
says no.
I think that if Calgary's going to make
Who accepts?
I think if Calgary's going to make this trade, it's gonna be ideally not for a goaltender in return. It's going to be for skaters, prospects, picks.
Yeah.
Because Calgary has to kind of start retooling here.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting a goalie return, but I'm expecting.
I don't think we need a goalie return.
We don't need a goalie return, which you know,
Vladar.
which I guess, yeah, the tandem of Wolf Vladar kind of scares me a bit, but you have to cut a goalie loose. Markstrom's the only one in trade conversations. It looks like he's the one out the door. Bring in if we can get maybe 4 things, whether that's 2 picks, a roster player, and a prospect, that would be neat. We might have to retain on Markstrom, which is fine.
I think we need a pretty big. I think Markstrom's worth quite a bit.
Boy, was I wrong. What I had hoped to be 4 assets became 2, as Jacob Markstrom gets shipped off to New Jersey for Kevin Ball and a 2025 first-round pick. First, I'd like to apologize to Markstrom. He was jerked around by management way too much since the trade deadline, and he deserves way better. I wish him nothing but the best in New Jersey. Honestly, this trade is an odd one. I do not understand where Craig Conroy is going, and we're trying to take the team with this trade here. Kevin Ball is a Canadian left-handed defenseman turning 24 in 8 days. Not known for his points, only registering 25 points in 148 NHL games, spending a lot of time in the A. He's a big guy, standing at 6'6", 230 pounds. He adds some size to a fairly small back end in Calgary. He will likely be the kind of the bottom pair defenseman, maybe the 7th defenseman is kind of the area I'm thinking about where he might go. Right now, this trade looks like a loss for Craig Conroy and company, especially with retaining 30% on Markstrom. I don't get it. I don't know where we're going with this. The 2025 draft class, I heard, is supposed to be fairly deep. I know Phil would want me to mention that next year, the 2025 draft, Reese Hamilton of the Calgary Hitmen is one of the players to watch, as well as Ben Kindle. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Lastly, we didn't get to this Monday, but Utah HC came out with the uniforms for their logos. Came out with uniforms and logos for their inaugural season, looking very Winnipeg Ice. Black and white with ice blue accents with Utah diagonally on the front. It's about what I expected when news broke that they wouldn't have a logo or a team name or anything for this season. Their vote for the remaining 6 names closes June 20th, tomorrow. But that is it. I wanted to come in and do a quick blurb for before our next show because the Jacob Markstrom news broke, so I figured might as well come in. But that is it for this Coast to Coast episode. Will Edmonton force Game 7? What do you think of the Markstrom trade, and what name do you like most for Utah's hockey team? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm Alex Verco for Coast to Coast, and we will see you again on Sunday. Enjoy Game 6.